The New York Giants fell to the Cincinnati Bengals 17-7. And coming up on today's show, we've got some major injury news to break down on Andrew Thomas. And we also got an inside look at Malik Nabers and an idea of when he is going to return for Big Blue. Before we do, though, I want to hear from you in the comments section. What is your one-word reaction to the Giants' loss? You guys are always colorful and creative. And I need some help accepting last night's game. So give me your one-word reaction to the pinned comment right now. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. I wish it was Victory Monday. But you know what? It is not. It is a defeated Monday for me. I am not quite over the loss yesterday. We'll talk about Daniel Jones, the offense, and everything Big Blue coming up in a second. But I just want to start with the injury news of the day. Andrew Thomas was limping late in that game. I believe it is a foot injury. I don't know which foot it is at the time. Andrew Thomas spoke to the media after the game, said he underwent an X-ray following the game Sunday night, and he is going to undergo an MRI today to find out the full and the entire severity of that injury. Look, there was a lot of talk that Andrew Thomas played a terrible game yesterday. Andrew Thomas was the reason the Giants lost. He couldn't block Hendrickson. He was downfield blocking on an RPO. Well, he allowed 2 sacks and 3 pressures. And if that is what qualifies a horrible game for Andrew Thomas, then we are just spoiled rotten for how good this guy has been for the last 6 games. I mean, Pro Football Focus, they graded Andrew Thomas as the #1 offensive player for the New York Giants yesterday. So for all the people that the Giants lost because of Andrew Thomas, he couldn't block, he allowed 2 sacks. He allowed 3 pressures. Let's stop acting as if the problem is not the guy that is under center touching the ball every snap. Trying to partially blame Andrew Thomas for yesterday is a joke. We should all be worried about his injury and if he's going to be able to play football. Because if he is out, if the Giants are going to have to play football games without Andrew Thomas blocking and protecting the blind side of whoever is under center at quarterback, they are going to be in trouble. He's one of the best people to put on this uniform in the past decade plus. As I'm watching my Twitter timeline, there is no update from Brian Dable on Andrew Thomas, who went for an MRI on his foot today. I do know this. If we do get an update on Thomas, we're going to get you that update. That's why you subscribe, turn notifications on so you never miss a thing. The people that I think are going to have to play for Andrew Thomas, I don't think it's going to be Evan Neal. I think it'll be Josh Azudu who gets the first snaps and the first reps at that left tackle spot. Last night, the Giants went into a jumbo set on the goal line, brought in a 6th offensive lineman, and it was Josh Azudu over Evan Neal. Azudu had been cross-training at guard and tackle all offseason long. Hopefully, Andrew Thomas doesn't have to miss any time, and if he does, I would bet that it is Josh Azudu over Evan Neal. Look, I don't know if Neal is not healthy. I don't know if they do not trust him. I don't know if they just want him to focus on right tackle and they don't want to bounce him out to left tackle so he can just stick to the right side. But I do think that it was telling that the New York Giants, when they went in a jumbo set with 6 offensive linemen, it was Joshua Azudu over Evan Neal, who Azudu has been just as bad, if not worse, than Neal. Neal has just been hurt. Well, I guess both of them have been hurt. One was picked 7th overall, and one was picked top 70 overall. Both of them not contributing to this football team. Show Andrew Thomas some love, though. He played through the pain last night. I thought he played all right. He gave it all he got, and that's honestly all I can ask for a guy. I'm not going to sit up here and rip him. It's a run-pass option. He is taught to block as if it is a run. It's not his fault that that is what happened. And he allowed 2 sacks to one of the better edge rushers in the National Football League. I believe 14 of the 15 pass sets, Hendrickson versus Thomas, one-on-one, they were one-on-one. He didn't have any help, and he allowed 2 sacks. You know what? Pat on the back. Thomas, keep playing tough, man. Keep fighting through the injury. Hopefully it's not too bad. We also have an update for Malik Nabers. Jalin Hyatt might have let it slip a little bit. Hyatt, speaking to the media after the game, says Nabers will probably be back this week coming up on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles, and he said that's our hope. Look, we'll talk about Jalin Hyatt another time. I just don't have the energy for that, but look, the Giants, they need Malik Nabers back ASAP. They didn't score. They scored 1 touchdown yesterday. They scored 7 points. I understand they were able to generate an offensive attack in that Seattle Seahawks game without him, but it's kind of like the backup QB theory. You could do it for one game, but when you have to do it consistently without arguably a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League, a guy that's already up to almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns this year, it's going to be tough. To the people that uttered and fixed their lips last week to say that Daniel Jones is better without Malik Nabers, seek help. I'll put a number in the comment section down below that you should call. Seek help, because it's a joke and you're embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing other people that are fans of this football team. They need Nabers back. They do. And look, the Giants offense, Nabers or not, it's a bad unit. It is. Nabers is just the makeup on an ugly pig. Like, we've got some shocking stats about this offense. I thought last year was bad when we gave up 85 sacks. The Giants' offense is worse this year, and I didn't think that was possible. We'll talk about that in a second, but first, I got to give a major shout-out to today's sponsor, Game Time. Download the Game Time app, use the promo code CHATSPORTS, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Game Time is the best ticketing app in the game. You get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Price actually drop as the events get closer, and oh yeah, Game Time guarantees the lowest price. You get to see your seat view in-app. You get to access your tickets from your phone, and it's easy to resell your tickets if you no longer want to go to the game or the concert. I only use Game Time. I've gone to NBA games. I've gone to concerts, and I'm going to continue to use Game Time because they make sure I have the best experience and I get the best bang for my buck. And when I use these two features, all-in pricing, there's no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. And the Game Time Picks feature, it makes it that much more easy to go see your favorite team, your favorite band, or your favorite people perform. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? It's game time. Support the show, support the sponsor, be a real one. It's week 6. Well, week 6 is over. It's week 7 this week, and the Giants have scored 8 offensive touchdowns. The Giants are averaging 1.3 offensive touchdowns this season. The Giants scored their first touchdown at home in week 6 this season. This offense is a joke. This offense is broken, and it is because you are having a play caller having to call a football game with a car that has an engine that is broken. Daniel Jones is a terrible quarterback. And last week, we called that an outlier. We've seen that with Daniel Jones. Occasionally has a good game, then he returns to earth. The Giants this year, offensive points per game. Points you score on offense per game, 15.5. 15.5 points per game. That is 29th in the NFL. That's behind the Miami Dolphins, who have had Tyler Snoop Huntley and Skylar Thompson as their quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson is the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And Drake May had to start his first game in week 6. And you are right behind them. You are clumped in with the worst offenses in recent football history. 7 points against the Cincinnati Bengals is a joke. I don't know who should lose. I know who should lose their job. Someone should lose their job because of this ball game. The Bengals were the 31st ranked scoring defense entering Sunday Night Football. They were allowing 29 points per game. You could 4x the Giants' points last night, and it would still be a game where it was below the season average for the Bengals defense. Like, in year 1, year 2, we said it. Year 3, we said it. Year 4, we said it. Year 4, we didn't say it. Year 5, we said it. In year 6, it's just a broken bell. Daniel Jones has to be better. Like, he just has to be better, man. Before the garbage time yards, he had 19 completions for 176 yards. The red zone interception, I went back and watched it last night. I went back and I listened to him speaking in the post-game press conference, and he said he was just trying to throw the ball out of the back of the end zone. Why don't you just throw it at the feet of Tyrone Tracy if you're throwing it away? Why don't you throw it away to the short side of the field? Why are we Derek Jetering in the hole off our back foot, throw and jump to throw it away out of the back of the end zone? He's brain dead. the lights come on at night, and the lights are too bright. The lights are too bright out here. Daniel Jones has 8 passing touchdowns in his last 13 games. Tommy DeVito threw 8 touchdowns in 6 starts last year. He didn't play with Malik Nabers. He didn't play with John Runyon. He didn't play with Jermaine Illuminor. He didn't play with Greg Van Roten. He threw 8 touchdowns in 6 starts. Daniel Jones threw 8 touchdowns in his last 13 games. Daniel Jones is 1-14 on primetime football. This man has gone out there 15 times with the nation watching, and he's gone home 14 times with a loss. Daniel Jones hasn't thrown a touchdown on primetime in the last 7 games that he has played. It has been 1,057 days since Daniel Jones has thrown a touchdown on primetime football. 1,057 days since he completed a pass where the receiver was in the end zone. He hasn't done that at MetLife Stadium in 651 days. So you can't win on primetime. You can't throw touchdowns on primetime, and you can't throw touchdowns at home. We are here. The end of the Daniel Jones era is here. It is staring Brian Daboll in the face. Brian Daboll, if you want to keep your job and you want to be looked at by your locker room as someone that they can respect, you need to bench Daniel Jones. Your defense is playing their tails off. Your offense has scored 8 touchdowns this year. They are terrible. Your defense has allowed 8 touchdowns this year, and you are 2-4. You are slapping Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence in the face by trotting out Daniel Jones and preaching that we have a chance to win. Players are smart. Players know ball. Players know who players are. And nobody that's a player on this team thinks Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. It's over. It is over. Pick a QB. Who should start next week? Type 8 for Dan the Doo-Doo Man, or 2 if you actually give a fuck about the New York Giants. Give me a follow on social media. I'm on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Every night before we go to bed tonight, this week, just say a prayer. Please start Drew Lock.